AOC doesn't remember her stupid from yesterday when she piles on the stupid of today. I always say that there's only two types of socialists, those that are stupid and don't understand what they're talking about and they're ignorant, or people that are actually evil. She should be absolutely ashamed of herself.
What's going on, guys? So we got to talk about AOC, Jamaal Bowman, and Bernie Sanders briefly for him, because she basically just went nuts at some sort of campaign event where she's trying to make sure that Jamaal Bowman wins his primary against Democrat opponent George Latimir. Okay, so George is a person who is being heavily funded, endorsed by Hillary Clinton and some others, but you got people like AOC, Bernie Sanders, etc., trying to support crazy Jamaal Bowman. Bear in mind, this is the idiot who previously pulled the fire alarm in Congress.
Jamaal Bowman removing warning signs before reportedly pulling a false fire alarm in a House office building last month, which he pleaded guilty to yesterday. He didn't look particularly rushed in that video, though. He's kind of meandering around, and the claim that was made in terms of the explanation of his actions when we first heard about it was that he pulled the fire alarm and was so panicked that he started running away to try to get to the vote. And I don't see him running in this video. I mean, every explanation that we've heard about this has been utterly ridiculous. The first, that he thought the fire alarm would open the door, which has never been the case in basically any instance of modern history where there's been an emergency exit. Then there was the explanation that the sign that was on the door must have been confusing because it was labeled emergency exit, and apparently Jamaal Bowman can't read. But then it turns out he actually took the sign off the door and never even tried to exit through the door that he was supposedly trying to open, just left the scene of the crime. Everything about this is absurd.
I'm going to show you AOC. I'm going to actually react to it here. I got to be careful because there's some Cardi B music playing in the background, and so apparently AOC tries to get crunk and hype up the crowd, saying we're gonna fight to try to elect Jamaal Bowman, crooked, corrupt Jamaal Bowman again, which of course is not gonna work, but they're trying. I really think that he's just being too outfunded here, but we'll see. Jamaal Bowman is really behind in the polls, so I really think that he's cooked. I don't think a lot of people like him. He's too crazy. He's too aggressive. And I just think that Americans are kind of getting tired of these like wacky, Looney Toony politicians. They want somebody that's going to bring order and decorum, and Jamaal Bowman ain't it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and react to this.
Yeah. Okay.
So I can't like play it with the music, so I got to kind of talk over it, and I'll let the music play a little bit. So she just flew across the screen and the music's playing, and so of course she's hype, jumping up and down like it's kind of like a little kid almost. You know, she's untying the hair. Right, so I mean, I'll give her credit for coming through with some energy.
Are you ready to fight? Are you ready to take this borough back? And are you ready to fight for peace on earth, a ceasefire in Gaza?
So as you can see, everything that people say about AOC is totally true. She's obviously a left-wing lunatic, running around, jumping up and down like a complete nutcase, but I'll give her credit for having some energy. I guess hyping the crowd up isn't necessarily a bad thing. However, I would probably expect something a little bit different from my politicians, but to instead of just running around like, hey, we're gonna fight, and just run around, you know, the thing that they tried to say was bad when Donald Trump did, saying we were gonna fight. But it's okay, of course, when Democrats do that.
We're both fighting.
We will fight back. We're not going to just take this line down.
I'm just going to keep the fight up.
What we have to do right now is fight as hard as we can.
We have to rise up and fight back.
And so we're going to fight, and we're going to continue to fight.
I am going to be fighting like hell.
Keep fighting, fighting, or we kept fighting, and we did. So we're going to keep fighting.
We have to be fighting every single day.
We have to fight back, and we have no choice but to do that. I think we're doing the right thing to do that.
Fighting.
And I'm fighting.
Well, our job right now is to fight.
It's really important. I'm going to keep fighting.
I'm asking for the support of people across the country to fight back.
And you got to be fierce in fighting.
Keep fighting.
Brown have been fighting.
I've told President Biden I will fight like mad.
I'll tell you what, now more than ever, we have to fight like hell.
That's okay. You didn't do anything wrong. It's a word people use. But please stop the hypocrisy.
Now, Jamaal Bowman was getting absolutely cooked in various debates that he's had with his George Latimir character. And so what else would he do besides pull out the handy dandy race card? And of course it didn't work, but he tried it anyway.
That are trafficked into our district. Not at gun shows.
Do you see why he's an ineffective congressman?
Why?
He argues. No, because he
the people in here understand passion. They know that we need passion in this moment. You want to go to Washington and play nice with Marjorie Taylor Greene?
No, you vote with her, so why shouldn't you play nice with her?
Come on now.
Here's the point, and I'd like to make it, Madam Moderator, without his interruption. When you work in a legislative body, you need to form coalitions with people. You need to have their respect. You need to talk to them as normal people. You can't preach and scream at them on the steps of the Capitol.
Okay.
He's ineffective as a congressman
rein this in,
for
gentlemen.
this very reason that you've just
We're going to have
seen.
a lot of disappointed viewers if I don't rein this in.
The angry black man. The angry black man.
Let's stay on topic,
It's the
please.
Southern strategy in the North.
Let's stay on topic.
And they expect us to be quiet about it. We're not going to be quiet about it.
Let's stay on topic, Suki Van Dyke.
I'm going to show you why nobody should take AOC seriously, because there's this debate about trans men and women, and AOC has issues making a distinguishment between who's who. Without further ado, let's take a look.
Candace Owens is the host of Candace. She joins us now as we talk a little biology and physiology. Can you make sense of that rant?
Oh gosh, isn't it so sad that we have to talk about basic biology, especially when we're dealing with somebody who's a 32-year-old congresswoman. I'm sorry, did I say congresswoman? I meant Congress menstruating person, because apparently we're no longer allowed to say women. I mean, this is so ridiculous. And here's what's really funny. She immediately cripples her own argument here, right? Her argument is that the evil GOP, they're taking away actions that women were allowed to take via abortion. But she's immediately saying something worse. Forget the actions women can take. Are women even allowed to exist anymore? This is what her side represents. It is so radical to not even be able to formulate the word woman because you feel too scared, because you need to accommodate all of these various genders, and trans people are also women and this is also women. No, women are women. If you cannot enter a debate about abortion and even identify what it means to be a woman, you have no place in that debate. In my personal opinion, I've said this, I actually think AOC is very good for the Republican Party. She's very good for conservatives. I think she shows people just how radical the left has become. In fact, there was never this much conversation about how radical the left is until she entered in and she said, I'm a socialist. She started stomping around. And so people may not like her platform, but I think it is for the better. You know, when she does something like she did today and she says, oh, the patriarchy and patriarchal ideas and all of this stuff that they're saying, and they're reducing us to a uterus, while at the same time not recognizing that she's reducing women to the idea that we're just menstruating persons, which is way worse. I'd rather be a uterus than be referred to as a menstruating person. You know, it's good for our side. People need to see this. People need to see just how radical the left has become. Power corrupts, and you understand, and maybe she had some better intentions when she first got into office, and then people started putting money into her pocket and telling her to say these things and to go after these initiatives. But there's no question now that this is a young woman who is completely corrupt. She does not care about black and brown people. She sees them suffering every single day across the inner cities, and rather than apologizing and doing a 180, she's looking us further in the face and lying and saying, you know what, this is all happening because of bad governance, but what you need is more government. She should be absolutely ashamed of herself, and hopefully the black and brown people that once upon a time believed in her are waking up to the truth. Socialism kills, and it's killing us right now.
This is the thing that is so crazy, is that there's really anybody who still listens to somebody like AOC. It doesn't appear as though it's going to work, because Jamaal Bowman looks like he's up for being cooked, okay? He's doing terrible in the polls. He's being outspent. He's made a fool of himself numerous times, as you even saw in this video. AOC, in my opinion, also made a fool of herself. Okay, it's just not looking good for these leftists. It's looking like they're not only going to get cooked I mean, Jamaal Bowman himself is going to get cooked by another Democrat that's not quite far as left, but he's still a leftist nonetheless. A lot of them, to me, are all the same these days because these people are so far left. They're nowhere close to the middle, which is a problem for me. That would actually be my preference. Somebody's like a little bit of column A and column B. Instead, it's like pretty much even all the people on the right wing, they had to shift further left just to accommodate all of these weirdos because we let things go too far. But as of November, I'm thinking they're all cooked. They better be. I'm going to keep releasing videos like this, pointing out how ridiculous and crazy these people are. AOC looks like a nutcase, dancing around, prancing around up there on the stage, just up here, just yelling at the top of her lungs. Like, her throat gotta freaking hurt. It gotta hurt up in there, all of that yelling that she was doing. And all for naught, because everybody knows Bowman looked like he's about to get stomped out. I don't even know how the hell he got elected to begin with. This dude's gonna cook him, and AOC about to be sitting up there crying. The only thing that's sad about this is that I gotta wait until Tuesday. The primary is on Tuesday. I gotta wait till Tuesday to see AOC's tears. But I'm gonna be counting down the days. Expect a trolling update from me. If Jamaal Bowman loses that primary, look out for it on Tuesday. I'll see you there. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate you watching the Black Anomaly Rising channel. I'm out.
She should be absolutely ashamed of herself.